Understanding solar radiation modification, what climate experts think. What's this about? The world isn't doing enough to slow down climate change, like cutting down on greenhouse gases that trap heat. Because of this, some people are looking at a backup plan called solar radiation modification, or SRM. SRM is a set of big ideas to cool the planet by blocking some of the sun's rays from reaching Earth. One way to do this is called stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI, where tiny particles are sprayed into the sky to reflect sunlight and lower temperatures. This paper asked climate experts, people who attend big global climate meetings called COP, Conference of the Parties, what they think about SRM. Those experts help make decisions about climate policies, so their opinions matter. The study wanted to know if they support SRM, how they think it should be managed, and what might happen if a country tries to use it on its own. What did the experts say? The researchers sent a survey to over 22,000 people who attended recent COP meetings. About 871 responded, and 622 answered all the questions. Here's what they found. Support for SRM varies by region. Experts from the global south, countries like those in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, are more open to SRM than those from the global north, like Europe and North America. About half of the official country representatives, called party delegates, think we should research SRM, use it in a climate emergency, and talk about it in global climate meetings. Global South experts are especially supportive, with over half wanting more research and discussions. They also think SRM could be helpful if the climate gets really bad. This might be because their countries are likely to suffer more from climate change, like extreme heat or storms. Experts from the global north and non government observers, like NGOs or researchers, are less excited. Only about a third of them support SRM research or using it in emergencies. Why some support or oppose SRM? Those who like SRM say it could buy time to cut greenhouse gases while keeping the planet cooler. Only a few think it's good because it's cheaper than other solutions. Those against SRM worry it's too risky. It might mess up the environment in ways we don't fully understand. Many also think it could make people less motivated to cut emissions, a problem called moral hazard. Can we manage SRM fairly? Most experts, especially from the global north, are not hopeful about creating fair rules for SRM. Less than 20% think the world can agree on how to manage it properly. Global South experts are a bit more hopeful, with about a third thinking good rules are possible. They want SRM to be discussed in global climate talks to avoid chaos if someone uses it without permission. What happens if a country acts alone? If one country starts building SRM technology, most experts, about 80%, think other countries will copy them and start their own programs. Over half expect some countries might try to block SRM's cooling effects with their own technology, called counter geoengineering. Fewer experts think countries would respond with tough actions like trade bans, 30%, or diplomatic punishments, 35%. About 12% think military action, like attacking SRM equipment, could happen, though it's less likely. If a country actually starts using SRM, the reactions get stronger. About a quarter of experts think military action is possible, like shooting down planes that spray particles. What if SRM is part of climate talks? Experts worry that bringing SRM into global climate talks could make things messy. Many think it would make it harder to agree on cutting emissions, 46%, or finding new ways to fight climate change, 45%. They also don't think it would make climate policies fairer. Most, over 60%, believe talking about SRNIM would make countries more likely to use it and could lead to arguments between nations, 66%. Global South experts are more optimistic than those from the Global North, thinking SRM talks might help climate goals. But overall, people are nervous about conflicts. What does this mean? SRM is a tricky idea. It could help cool the planet quickly, but it's hard to control who uses it and how. A single country could decide to use SRM and change the climate for everyone, which could cause fights or even wars. The experts see SRM as a serious option, especially in places that face big climate risks, but they're worried about managing it fairly. They think it's likely to cause disagreements, and strong rules are needed to keep things under control. The difference between the global south and north is important. The South, which faces worse climate damage, sees SRM as a possible lifeline, but they also want a say in how it's used to make sure it's fair. The North is more cautious, maybe because they have more resources to deal with climate change without SRM. Why should we care? As climate change gets worse, SRM might become a bigger topic. This study shows we need to plan carefully to avoid conflicts and make sure no one uses SRM recklessly. It also highlights that different parts of the world have different needs and views, so any plan for SRM has to include everyone to be fair.